How's that? I really could. There we go. You know, I pushed the button. Thank you. Apparently I had no volume. Thanks. Y'all want to do that? You want to start off with a little meditation?
Sure.
Does that feel good? All right. Get comfortable and take a breath and anchor back into your body. Come into this present moment. Perhaps you feel the air on your skin, the sun shining upon you, the weight of your body on this earth. Coming into presence, pure presence. Aware of the sounds around you, the birds, the voices, the movements around you, and come back to the sound and feeling of just your breath flowing in and out. Whatever it is you hear around you, focus on the sound of your inhales and your exhales. It's like when you're at the ocean and all you hear is the ocean waves. So just hearing the sound of your inhales and your exhales. There's nothing beyond that. Other things come and go. And this touchstone, this breath, is what brings us back to center, brings us back to now, brings us back to presence, where anything is possible. We could be like the sun shining, or we could be like the shadow, dark and cold. There is no right and no wrong and no judgment upon these parts of this earth. However, we get this opportunity to embody these parts of this Divine Mother. We can shine bright and joyfully upon all, or we can be dark and cold and to ourselves. And that is the freedom of the choices that we have. We always can change our mind and change our way of being with every remembrance of the breath that we have. So take another big full breath in and let it go. Is anyone else feeling the warmth of that sun on them right now? Can you feel the sun? Like, can we play with this for a second? Because I'm really enjoying being in the sunshine because we haven't been in a while here. You know, I can usually feel the sun on my skin and it feels like it can bounce off, right? It's almost like I have this layer, it hits me and it bounces off. Can you actually feel the sun pouring into you? Can you feel it making its way all the way through your skin, through your muscles, and into your bones? Can you feel this light, this heat, this energy, this warmth moving through your entire body, letting it pour through you so it emanates on the other side? So you become one with the sun rays. No separation, no delineation, just standing in the flow of the sun light. If it's shining on the back of your head, can you feel it pouring through the front of your face? If it's shining on your belly, can you feel it pouring out of your lower back? And just feel the energy of the sunshine moving through you. And as you take a breath in, you breathe this light in. And as you exhale, you breathe the light out. We'll do 2 more of those, breathing the sunlight into the lungs And exhaling light out of you, out of all of your pores. Another breath in, breathing the light and warmth of this gift of the sun in. And exhaling this energy out in all directions. And coming back to this present moment. Hey, y'all. So how was that? Good morning. So how was that? Could you all feel the sun any differently?
I can feel it now.
You can definitely feel it now. You felt warmer?
Warm,
Yeah?
Over here, I can feel it warm because I can't feel it in the shade.
Could you feel it move up your body? Interesting. Anyone else? Could you feel the sun any differently after that?
I concentrated on the light coming through.
Yeah?
I don't have much sun on me.
Uh-huh.
But I knew the parts I didn't have it on, and I was focusing on.
Nice. So you were able to like move it throughout.
Yes.
That's awesome. What about anyone else that like, because some of you have the sun like on the back of you. Could you feel it moving through you any? You could? I know. It's very bright on this now. I like it. So I realized when I was in Costa Rica that the sun is like wicked stronger there because you're so close to the equator. And when I was at the coast, there's not really shade on the beach, right? There's not. It's like sand and ocean. There were some trees, so we were able to like kind of get underneath these huge coconut trees everywhere, which I learned that if you're standing under a coconut tree to always make sure that you're not doing that, because it literally, a coconut can fall off and actually kill you. Like, because that happens oftentimes. People just get conked by a coconut and they die. And I was like, that would be such a crappy and yet fun way to go. You know, like, I'm here, I'm having a doink, you know, like, but anyway. So, you know, there were so many times when I was like in the sun, and there was a part of me that was like, oh no, I need to cover up. I need to shield myself from that. And then I flipped the script on that, and I was like, no, I am that. Like, I am the sun, because there's nothing that separates us, you know, and I am the earth, and the earth isn't hiding from it. You know, it doesn't stay out 24 hours. You know, that's why that whole spin thing happens. So I'm going to just enjoy this time. And I never got burned. Well, actually, I technically did get burned, but that was my own oversight. But anyway, but like, it was so interesting how like I could still be in it and enjoy it. And it was almost like I had to flip the script in my head. And when I think about that to like real life application, how often are we in an experience where that's just super great, right? It's super fun, it's super light, it's super joyful. And how often will we go ahead and hide from that? And how often do we actually sit and just bask in it? You know? Like, have you all noticed that? Like, when you have experiences that are just really great, they feel good, they feel warm, they feel loving, they feel kind, they feel like, yeah, this is life. And then all of a sudden you're like, no, it's not safe. Do you do that? Have you ever done that? Am I the only one that's ever done that? I may be the only one that's ever done that. Yeah?
Yeah, I think the way you're speaking from your perception is alluding some of us because I'm trying to. Well, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Like, you ever been in like a relationship that's like really good, and it's like they give you something really nice, or they show up, or they're actually there for you in a time of need, and all of a sudden you're like, no, go away, I don't need you. Or someone's like, hey, like, I have this extra $100 and I just want to give it to you, and you're like, well, what do I have to do for that? Right? Like, you have doubt that comes in instead, or we reject it, or we don't feel worthy of it.
I think accepting money is a hard thing. It was hard for me at first because I'm really poor now what sometimes people can be $20. But I got used to it. I got used to it because I am in need and I am poor. And the other person obviously
Be
is
careful of your words. You're not poor.
I have abundance, but I don't have money. And so, I lost my train of thought.
How you'll accept it now.
I'll accept it.
Because you said that, you may need it, but apparently they don't need it.
They don't need it, or they wouldn't offer it. And I guess some of that is building the self-worth inside of myself, starting to feel loved, and I can be loved, and I should be loved.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I always felt like when people gave you something, they wanted something in return.
Mm-hmm.
They do. It's called exchange.
But what if? So what if, though? I feel like that's not necessarily always true. What if
they just want you to be happy? That can be an exchange.
Well, yeah. Well, that's like everything is altruistic in its nature. Like I'm like, even if I like volunteer my time somewhere and I'm not getting paid for it, like I get something from that, right? But I feel like we've been taught that it's like if someone gives you something that we have to do something that we don't necessarily want to do back. It's like we've all been taught that, if you have a job, it's going to suck. It's like, oh, I got to go to work. I got to work these hours, like that's this programming. And then we get paid for that. So then it's like if someone just gives you money, it's kind of like, oh, what do I have to do for that? How many hours do I need to do this for that? But there's this space of just being able to receive like this love, this light, this energy, this reflection of something good. Just to do it, just to receive it.
Right. I've been able to do that for people. And I'm grateful and thankful and food, everything, that's given to me.
Yeah.
You've given me a sandwich before.
Yeah. I do.
Where does that love and energy come from?
I think it comes from ourself, and it comes from life itself. And to me, love comes from life itself in every single way possible. Like, I see, like, this is weird, but I see like a spider web here, and it's like floating between this group. It's just like one little string. I think I might be just caught it. And to me, like that could be viewed as like an annoyance or whatever, but someone else could look at it and be like, wow, that's a little spider web glistening the sun. And it's this beautiful expression of nature that's literally connecting all of us with a web, but it's about the perception of it. But to me, love is in everything. Love is everything. Everything is love. That's my thought.
I think so too.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on that?
I think God is love. If you want to call him God, higher power is love. We're love, so it's all love. I've been trying to concentrate on love.
Yeah.
Because I think it makes me a better person if I try to give or have love about me. I don't know. My tooth is hurting right now. So, but I know. I'll see the doctor tomorrow. But, so yeah, I think love is just everything, isn't it?
I think it is. What do you all think love is? Where is love? I want to read what Charles says. He says, there's a difference to me of being in fear of being situation aware as far as outside things. People will blindside you in a minute. There's a difference to me of being in fear and being situation. Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, situational awareness is key. People blindside us. People change their minds. But it's almost like that the light and the shadow, right? It's like, am I blindsided if Jeremy is like being light? I'm Jeremy and I'm Mr. Ball of Sunshine. And then Jeremy's like, screw this, I'm having a day. And I feel like being the shadow person because I don't want to be out. I don't feel like being warm. I just want to be the shadow self. If I like, that could be blindsiding to me, right? If I just expect him to always be a certain way. It's then if I am loving, which goes back to love being everything. If I can still love him, if he's being his like shadow whatever self, to me, that creates I can be situationally aware and not be blindsided. Anyway, answering kind of to what Charles said. So I'm curious, what is love? Where is love? Where is love? That's what you asked. Where is love?
People sing a lot of
Mm-hmm.
That one song said, "What is love?"
Yeah, that one. That was a song. Like, where is love to you? Is it outside of you? Is it in a relationship? Is it in a parent, a partner? Is it in a paycheck?
I think it's outside of me and inside of me. I was thinking about this morning. When I come into PRN, I've been coming here a long time, and I feel a lot of love. And so I can actually feel it and want to be here so that I can feel that love. It makes me feel good. And because there's so much love around me, I hope that I'm giving it out as well. Because that's what you want is to feel all that love. Now, I also can go out into the world and give love just by being nice to people, not worried about whatever they're doing. But, I'm from the hippie world. Peace and love. Text it. Peace and love.
Yeah. And for you to thank you for sharing that, because it's like, you come to the place where you feel love, you fill up, and then you leave here and you're more loving. It's funny how that works.
Earlier you mentioned
Oh, I
about
hear what you have to say.
about volunteering. Before I got back to Charlotte, I was volunteering at two different places. I volunteered at the soup kitchen, and when we would go there, right when they were still serving breakfast to the less fortunate people and homeless, they thanked us for like cleaning up the kitchen and being there to serve the needy and stuff. And they would always thank us when we would leave. And it was just about redoing it the next week. But like the end of the week, we go to Habitat Restore and volunteer there too. So they love us helping them at the back dock, helping move around furniture back to the inside. I love that. So even if I didn't, but people loved it so much. I loved what I did at both of those places, especially the soup kitchen, because we would do more of this than just feed the needy. We would put together like non-perishable foods and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite busy, and rather than what we did at Habitat Restored, we would make sure that the equipment wasn't just like we would have to fix the equipment and stuff. And at the back dock, they'd fix the equipment for somebody who wanted like tables, chairs, beds, like window shutters and stuff like that.
It sounds like, thank you for sharing that. It sounds like love for you in that time was being of service. It was like, where was love? Where is love? It's in an action. Love can be in an action of service. Like you don't have like a thing to show for it, but you have the experience. It was the experience that was the love. Thank you for sharing that. What were you going to share? Where is love to you?
It's a vibration, frequency. It's on the grid that we live on. It's very low, but it exists.
What do you mean it's low? Love is the vibration of love is low, or
With
I didn't
all the
misunderstood
war
that.
and the separation and people who judge you for the color of your skin and put stuff on people because certain people are placed in certain situations, it's low. It's not. It's not an equal thing. So, uh, but it exists. You know, everyone doesn't think that way, but it's a reality that we have to live in.
Do you think that there's love in the places of war?
Most wars are created from love of what you don't need, or love of greed, love of power, love of money,
Mm.
resources. So, absolutely. Without love, there wouldn't be no war, and it shouldn't be that way.
Well,
But
that wouldn't that be the duality of life, right? Like everything has its up and down. Like everything has, like the light has a dark, the up has a down, the left has a right. Everything has two sides. So, like, can there be peace without war? You know, like can there be? You know,
We would have a word that was called peace if there wasn't war.
true.
But there could be not fighting. Um, I don't like to think that there has to be war in order to have peace. I understand that we have to have war in order to want peace or to know what peace is and to go for peace. But couldn't we just have neutral without war? You know?
I think that we can in expression, but I think also that, you know, some people don't see war anywhere until there are, you know, tanks and bombs and guns, right? And people think that that's the only kind of war that there is, right? They don't see the mental war that I go through or the emotional war that I go through with myself or with my partner or with my job. They don't see the war that communities have within themselves or communities next to each other. So it's almost like, if we can we get rid of war for peace? Like, can we? Like, because wouldn't there still be some type of warring?
Conflict.
Yeah, because conflict is another word to me for chaos, and chaos is in the quantum what we need to have change. Because without chaos, everything is just like this, and then it can lead to actual stagnation. So it's like when different sound waves, you know, if I'm moving this way and you're moving this way, when these two sound waves hit, there's a chaos, but then it also gives a chance to harmonize. You know, if it doesn't harmonize, that's okay. It means that it's going to be like real uncomfortable. And that's to me the war with the guns and the bombs and the tanks. But if it's just like you and I are just kind of like getting all mad at each other, but not really, but kind of, but not. I don't like what you're saying, and you don't like what I'm saying, or whatever. Like we're not really harmonizing. But if we pause in peace and we have time to communicate, that's the space where we can actually come into harmony that we maybe wouldn't have had without that disharmony to hit first. I think that the collective, just like humanity, is taking it on this really big scale of like, we all need to fight big because we all need some really big peace to happen, and we don't know how to do it any other way.
Right.
It's kind of like people that do a cleanse or a diet, and right before the diet, they're like, I'm going to eat everything because tomorrow I'm going to start my diet. You know, to me, that's what war is. It's that like, I'm going to fight it out and just, okay, now I'm ready for peace. You know, like that's kind of what that's what I'm hoping for, because I feel like that's just like human behavior in so many ways. So when I kind of pull back from a different perspective and see what's happening on the global scale, I am choosing to see it through a lens of love, because again, that's a choice in how we see it. I'm choosing to see it through a lens of love, as this is the prelude to a bigger version of peace that we all will get to live in together and in harmony on some level. Still, you do you, boo, and we're going to be different. But now I'm not going to try to control it and be greedy about it and try to take it. Instead, I'm just going to be like, you're doing that, I'm doing this. Okay, now we're living in harmony, you know? Hey, Pamela's here. That's a deep question. I don't think we can live. Right? It's a very interesting, because there's no right or wrong answer. I mean, these are just philosophical questions. And if you think about our body, right? Like, because it's body, mind, spirit. So, like, going into the body with this, like, can our body be at 100% pure peace?
well, when I think of like a monk, yes,
Okay.
they don't. How much war do they have? I mean, you got to think. As human beings, we all have war inside of us. That's what the white wolf and the black wolf. You know what I'm saying? The fight. Which one do you feed? So it's a constant balance. It's an everyday balance.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I believe so. It depends on what you do with your war. You don't have to hurt people with your war. You don't have to hurt yourself with your war. Do something constructive with your war. And you can balance that out. That vetoes, and then you got so much more love to give.
Okay.
What I was thinking of is since it's body, mind, spirit, is I can't remember a day that I woke up and nothing hurt or nothing was awry inside my body. And I can't think of a day that if I didn't work for it, my spiritual condition just I woke up and it was phenomenal. I had to do something in order to create that spirituality. That's body, mind, spirit, body. Oh, mind. Oh, the mind is always doing something. You know, the mind is just something that when I can't control it 100%. If I did, there would be no thoughts except for love, kindness, and happiness and so forth. But every once in a while, oh, I don't like that person's shoe, or something like that comes in. So for all three of those to be at peace.
Yeah. Well, and
The address 22, 24.
this
2-4, yeah. You go in
this
that door right there.
you can go in this door. And that kind of goes to the mind with what you were saying about like the monk mind, right? The monk mind, the Buddha mind, is the mind that lets go of thought and that can sit in mindfulness, empty-mindedness, and complete presence and awareness. They become the sun. They're not thinking about the sunlight moving through them. They remember that they are the sun, and then they just let go of all thought. Okay? So thinking about that, like the most peaceful person in that realm, is there war in their body? Well, their cells are dying. Their cells are dying and reborning and dying and reborning and dying and reborning, right? With every breath in, they're full of life. With every exhale, they're emptying out their life force. Their cells are literally like shedding off. We have bacteria on our bodies all the time and all types of little parasites all the time. And they're living and they're dying and they're fighting each other. Our T cells are fighting off any potential bugs that our body doesn't need, parasites that our body doesn't need. Our body creates a thing to eat them, right? So even the most peaceful person is still going to have an internal war. And, talking about what you said, this is really interesting. So you mentioned how, like, you don't remember a time where you didn't wake up and weren't uncomfortable. So same here. It's been a really long time. I've gotten a new mattress and I got another mattress and I'm like, I don't even know what to do. So in Costa Rica, we stayed in a house that was like right on one of the main roads. There are 3 main roads in the whole country. We were on one of them. And there are a lot of semis. And so every time the semis would stop a block down, because there was like a place for them to stop and rest and like eat and stuff, it would make that really loud brake sound, that because they had been coming down the mountain. So this would happen all hours during the night. I had earplugs in. I just didn't really sleep for 2 weeks, and I would wake up and my body would be hurting, probably because I didn't sleep. And also because the mattress wasn't the most comfortable. Like, it was fine, just whatever. So it's been interesting because of all that time in discomfort. I get back here now. I have never slept so well. I'm crashing out at like 9 p.m. and I'm waking up at like, I don't know, 6, 7, something like that. And I feel like, wow, I slept hard. I didn't wake up. I didn't toss. I didn't turn. The silence is beautiful. But I don't want to say I had to, but apparently I had to go through that really hard war with sleep. And then I'm like, oh, there's the peace. So like, I wonder, like, do we have to do that? Do we have to go through hard times to get to the light? Do we have to go through the shadow to get to the light? It's part of it. I think we have to.
Some people may not have to go through as much as other people because of stubbornness or some other defect. Some people might be able to achieve that without having to go through. So I don't know, though. I think suffering is growing.
Yeah. I mean, what is suffering? Well, to me, suffering, I guess, is really just the amount of time that you choose to hold on to the situation that's uncomfortable. It's like we could all start a war right now between all of us, okay? Where we all pick up a rock and we start throwing it at each other, which we're not going to do. So thank you in advance. I know. So like, we could start this war right now, and we could all suffer and get hurt, and we could keep this war going for 20,000 years. Or we could keep it going for 20 seconds until someone says, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. And someone else says, yeah, me neither. I don't either. Can we just get along now? Like, can we figure out a way to harmonize? So suffering to me is the amount of time that we're in those discomforts. And sometimes those discomforts aren't up to us. Like what if you are incarcerated? You can't just be like, I'm done. I feel better. And then the system say, okay, you can go free now. Right? Like you're kind of like at that mercy.
Suffering can be physical as well.
Totally. Totally. And I think that all suffering begins in the mind. Because the shadow is going to be the shadow and the light is going to be the light. I can choose to focus on either one. And that goes back to, where is love? It's through the lens in which I choose to look. It is always through the lens in which I choose to look, because it's always there, ready and available for me to see and witness and experience. Or I can choose to not. I can look for the grumbles. I can look for the stuff I don't like. I can talk about it. I can share it. I can tell everybody about it. I can sit in it and wallow in it and stink in it. And it doesn't matter. Because, you could come next to me. Elijah could come up next to me and be like, it's all great to me. Like, this is good. Yes, Pamela is sharing about the peace and the war. It's complicated. So I'd go back to what I said, knowledge and understanding. Yeah, I feel peace is a lifelong transformation. And she says that unfortunately suffering is not letting go, right? It's like, I'm not going to let go. I'm going to keep focusing on this thing that I hate so very much. I'm going to keep judging myself for messing up yet again, right? Then I'm just suffering. I'm staying in that darkness. Pamela shares, I needed to understand me and the journey through my path through peace, understand it's me with everything about me. That's so true. Everything is the me and how I choose to see it. Charles shares, for me, as far as the inner war thingy, it's the being gratitude for the things, the comforts that we have. We can look for the better and be happy with the blessings that we have, that we've got. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I read something recently.
Thank you.
That the way to start a meditation or go into a spiritual way of thinking is to always start with gratitude first. Now, I don't know if I believe that or not. The ultimatum that we have to do that, but I have been trying. I have been trying to start with the gratitude list in my mind. It's the same thing always, um, my health and all that stuff. But I do think that by thinking grateful things before I try to meditate or before I try to go into some kind of a spiritual, clears my head.
Mm-hmm.
It just clears and opens the space.
Yeah. Gratitude is great for that. And I'm curious, does anyone have a hard time finding gratitudes? Like, do you ever have a hard time finding something to be grateful for? You ever been in such a mood that it's like, I'm not grateful for anything. The sun is burning my face right now. Do you?
I can find it. Like when my mom and my brother send me clothes through the mail.
Mm-hmm.
I love getting clothes from them.
Acts of service. That's one of your love languages, dude. For sure.
Yeah, every day. Every day. I'm pretty sure we all feel, my bad, let me just make this quick.
I like it.
Well, but regardless what I go through, I speak it. I am grateful though. I remind myself that I'm grateful, because I don't have to be here. You know what I'm saying? I don't. And one thing about gratitude is the law of what is that law?
There are
To
many.
where it's, I know, but where I'm going is that someone is always
Like
doing worse.
attraction?
The
Oh.
law of no.
Well, the law of relativity wouldn't quite be that.
No, that ain't it.
But there's there's always something better and there's always something
Someone's
worse.
doing worse. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I fathom, if you just think I'm free right now and I can do anything, and some guy is in prison right now, doing life, never going to see the light of day ever. I'm grateful.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I couldn't imagine. You know what I'm saying? I think people they abuse the illusion of sight, because you got to think, if everyone was blind, one of my favorite quotes that I learned through life: if everyone was blind, the world would be more beautiful. You wouldn't have to deal with color. Would you? When you see if you don't see a drug, you don't want to use it because you won't even know what it's like. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't buy a cigarette. You wouldn't even want those things. Because you're trying to focus on my internal, where I'm moving. And you're going to go to where it's warm if it's cold. You know what I'm saying? You're going to gravitate towards that. When it's warm, you're going to lay there like an animal or something. So
Thank you for sharing that.
In the course of the week, I occasionally, something happens and I feel grateful and I remind myself it's not a coincidence, it's not a stroke of good luck, it's a godsend. I'm saying God is trying to, anyway, I remind myself that.
Thank you for sharing that. Like, I think sometimes it's not easy to find a gratitude, especially if things are just really dark. It's just sometimes it's really challenging. So I think, to be able to like look to things that have happened in our past, no matter if it's good or bad, right? So like, what if the things that I look back upon to be grateful for is like, wow, that one time that I was given a car. I haven't been given a car, but if I ever am, I'd be really grateful. But anyway, like, I was so grateful that I got that car. Now, what if, can we feel just as much gratitude for like wrecking a car?
Why would we feel gratitude for wrecking a car?
That's where we get to be creative. That's why creativity is a big part of our health and wellness and spiritual development, because sometimes it takes a creative mind to see where we can be grateful. For example, if I wrecked a car, I can be grateful that I still have my ability to walk. Maybe I met a really awesome police officer that day, or maybe it connected me back with my family because I almost died, or, I got to get a new car. There is always a bright side to the darkness. There is always a silver lining, but that's choosing to see through that lens of love to like see that. So there's this so y'all know the symbol, the yin yang. It looks like it's like black and white in a circle, and it has like a white dot in the black and the black dot in the white, and it looks like two fish kind of going around. So there's a line that connects where the black and the white meet, and it looks like an S, right? It's where those two pieces come together. So in the tradition, it's called the Wu Wei. It's spelled like WUWAI or something like that, but it's called the Wu Wei. And it's to find that supreme balance between the light and the dark. So no matter what, there is always another side to see. So like I could be sitting here and being like, oh my God, the sun is so great. I'm so grateful for it. And I also have the awareness that someone may be really afraid of getting a burn. Maybe they've experienced skin cancer, whatever that is. So it's being in that space of the Wu Wei, always coming back to like, can we see it just with some love? And gratitude can be a really challenging one, but it can also be really easy and a really, a doorway to expand our creativity. Right. To find what to be grateful for.
I'm really lucky because if I'm sober, I have something to be grateful for the moment I open my eyes. And that's what I do open my eyes and say, thank you, higher power, for letting me wake up sober today. And then it takes off from there. To me, there's no, I suppose if we really analyzed it, you could say there's a dark side to that too. Like some people would think, but I can't have any fun anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I feel fortunate today, I may not have this long, that I have something to be grateful for like that alters my life every single day.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Like, I think that we forget the gifts that our body itself is and does for us. To be able to like really truly love the fact that my skin cells literally will regenerate themselves, and I don't have to do that. They do it for me. I don't have to tell my lungs, okay, breathe in, don't forget. Okay, you're done. Breathe out. Okay, good job. You know, I'm really grateful that I don't have to tell myself, oh, you must blink now. Your eyes are turning into prunes. Blink, 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 right? Like how grateful we can be for these little things, you know, if we choose to see it. It's all the choice that we have. That's the one thing that we have complete freedom with is our choice of our thought and focus. Hi. I want to share what Pamela says. Yes, trying to find supporters that are the good, positive supporters. She says she starts every day with gratitude to her higher being. And she says that I believe we're all fireflies in the darkness. Oh, I love that. Serenity path, serenity middle path. Yes, I like that. We are all the fireflies in the darkness because if you're having like a dark day, like you're having a bad day, and I'm not going to come in there and be like, you should feel better, because I don't want to marginalize like someone else's experience. That being said, I can also say, wow, that sucks. I can see where this is leading. Wow, what lessons you're getting to have from this experience. Whoa, wow, you're going through this hard time because you're not going to be in it forever, that this is a prelude to what's to come. Like, that's exciting for me. And I'm still going to honor that like someone's having a craptastic experience. You know, I don't want to ignore someone's hard darkness. And I'm also not going to tell some, and I'm also, I don't know, I think there's also this finding the balance because some people just really like to be in that darkness. And some people just really like to be in the lightness. Like Elijah, you're always like, I feel like you're usually always in a good mood. Like you're always really pleasant, really peaceful, really loving, really kind. You're consistent. And I'm not ever going to tell you you should feel bad, right? So why would I tell someone who's always grumbly that you should feel better? It's funny how that works. Yeah.
I find that I usually start my days off feeling grumbly, being grouchy. But as the day progresses and I come here and I have input, experiences of any kind, my mood starts to lift. And by afternoon, I'm feeling better and I'm usually getting busy. That's kind of the way it's working with me.
Yeah.
When I started here this morning, I was just really feeling uncomfortable. But I'm feeling better now because I've been listening and thinking and participating. And it's helped to lift my spirit.
Cool. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for being present. You know, I think oftentimes we tend to run from the things when we're uncomfortable. You know, has anyone ever experienced depression? Right? Yeah, it's fun, right? It's fun because you're like, I don't want to leave the house. I don't want to do anything. I'm just going to keep on hiding forever. I hate this life. Na, 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 na. You know? But to be an active participant, to say, I'm going to leave the house today, like that's such a huge milestone, to be open and willing to even remotely change, whether it's just change the depth of my breath, to change the way it is I perceive things, to just look at something differently, to ask a question, to participate. Like, to me, that's something to be grateful for. That I chose to get out of bed today. Like, I may not have felt good, but I still chose to get out of bed. That took a lot of courage. A lot of people didn't do that today, whether they chose to not physically or they died. Like, we're doing so good. I don't like good, like not good, bad, but like we're doing so much better, I think, than we give ourselves credit for. I think we just forget to like see it. We forget where to look for it. We forget how to see it. We forget how to talk about it, how to share it.
One of the things is that depending on what's been put into your head, the standards, is I think getting out of bed is a great accomplishment. But in my brain, what I've been told all my life is getting out of bed is cool. You better get your ass up. Because that's what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, with my temperament and so forth, getting out of bed is a big deal.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. Like in our culture and in our upbringing, we're taught that if we don't get out of bed, we're lazy. So then we actually will fight off feelings of sadness and depression, because like if I have a day where I don't feel like getting out of bed, I don't feel like leaving my house, then I start to question, my mental health, my ability, I'm weak, I'm not good enough, I'm being lazy. I start with all of these stories that aren't real. They're not true. They're just like stories that I was told from the program, the system that we grow up in. And so for me personally, like just even taking it easy and resting is a challenge. And that was one of the things that I learned from my journey, was like, you need to chill out, and like you need to stop saying yes to some things. You need to stop doing some things, and you need to have free time to maybe take a nap. And that's not laziness. It's actually just okay, Hmm? Sleep is good, right?
Sometimes I will take a nap, but I will tell myself, it's okay. You've earned it. You've done this and this today, and it's okay. It's an escape. So, I mean, that's something I do. It's okay. You've earned it.
I'm curious. Thank you for sharing that. The self-talk of like, I deserve this. So I've experienced disordered eating for a good chunk of my life. And the story that I would tell myself is that I would deserve to eat this because I deserved to eat this because I just ran this many miles, right? Because I did this, I deserved food. And which is, for me, that was feeding my disordered eating. And so kind of thinking about that, it's like, did I do something special to have the sun shine on me? Did I do something special that makes me deserve this feeling of the sunshine? No. I deserve the sunshine because I'm human. Period. It's like a nap. We deserve a nap because we're human. We deserve to eat because we're human. We deserve to laugh and to cry because we're human. Everything that we experience is worthy of being experienced because we're the human that can experience it. So then if I use that thought, then I start to open up to like living more freely, actually. Because then it's like, I eat because I'm hungry or I want to, and not because I deserve it. I take a nap because it feels good. It feels good to take a nap right now. And so just I'm putting that out there, because deserving because I do something, that goes back to the top of the hour when I was talking about receiving something. Sometimes just receiving it, to be like, cool, I just received this thing, thank you, as opposed to, what did I do to deserve this? What do I have to give you back? What do I have to do in exchange? It's a different, it's just different. No right, no wrong, just putting it into the awareness.
I think being a woman, there's only 3 of us here, but I think it's born and bred in us that, okay, I can eat a piece of cake because I ran 3 miles. I do it all the time. I don't think I'll gain weight. I just walk 3 miles.
Yeah, and that's not a natural way of thinking. It's not like there's no plant that says, I just spent 7 hours in the sun, so now I deserve water. Right? The plant's like, I'm in the sun, I get water, it's balance, And then Pamela says, move a muscle, change a thought. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's also in our nature to move, and we don't move to eat. Typically, we eat to move. So it's like, instead of me thinking like, I ran 3 miles, so now I can eat to refuel. What if I think about it like, I want to stay super fueled and healthy and nourished in my body, my mind, and my spirit, so that I can go and run these 3 miles, so I can show up at this interview, so I can do these things for the rest of the day. So that then I'm paying myself forward. I'm loving myself through how I'm nourishing all of this to show up for myself. for wherever I go. But if I do it on the backpedaling loop, like I did this thing, now I need to do this so that I can pay for that, then there's less momentum like moving forward. You know what I mean? But I also I don't do well with telling myself that I need to move so much to pay for what I just ate either. You ever it's like oh, I just ate a cake. Oh, I need to go run for 2 hours.
I usually do it on the front end.
Yeah.
I do the exercise and then say, oh, I can't do this.
Yeah. So, I say be in the light when you want to be in the light. Be in the darkness when you want to be in the darkness. Don't judge it. Don't throw it at others. Just be it. And when others are being what you're not, can you love them? Can you see them as being loved? Can you see the people that are having wars right now is finding their love somehow, whatever timeline that looks like, that maybe they just got to fight it out first. I don't know. But it's all the choice. We have the choice. I'm glad that we chose to sit outside today. I'm glad that we got to experience the sunshine and that it keeps warming up right now.
And I think it's more relaxing and more just, here we are.
It's just more comfortable. It's so much more comfortable. So keep playing with these thoughts and these ideas that we talked about, like different ways to be grateful, different ways to experience the light. Whether it's the light of the sun, the light of a smile on someone else, or the light and the joy that it is to receive service or gifts or whatever it is. Like, can you just play with these thoughts? Can we still be in the light when there's like a war happening or whatever? A televised one.
So going back to physics, because I have all those millions of questions that come up. Is the energy constantly changing around us? And is love included in that energy around us?
Yes. Yes. Energy is always, energy isn't destroyed or created. It just moves and changes in form.
Okay.
That's all it does. So it's like a fire isn't just the fire. It starts off with the earth material and it's the flame, and then it turns into this vapor, and it's this cycle. Yeah. So it's always changing. And if the way I see it is, I see it like computer code, that it's a bunch of ones and zeros on everything, and that love is the screen that the ones and zeros are on. It's what holds it all together. The information is the ones and the zeros. So that's what we would see as everything, the matrix. But it's held on with love. It's the unifying force of all that is. You might be a 101, I might be a 010, but the love is what's going to connect us if we can choose to see that part. Yeah. And my code might change to a 111 one day, but still the love that is the me that holds it all together.
Well, that's a hard thing to get constant in your mind because you're judging before you even.
And that's just the program. That's what we've been programmed to do. So it's just reprogramming it and being like, oh, well, I was just judging whatever.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. And I think, and to me, that's just the human experience. We're always moving through those changes. We're always moving through different levels of awareness in different timelines. We don't even realize we're suffering half the time until we're done with it. Hey. So we can be in suffering or not. That's up to us. Hopefully, if you're in suffering, you're at least enjoying the ride.
One last question. I don't know how much time we have.
Yeah.
What about worry? Like you're worried about something, paying your rent, something that's substantial. Eating, you're worried. How can you possibly calm your mind down to stop worrying? Turning it over?
I think that when we are in a state of worry on whatever, I'm worried about the state of the world, my relationship, my job, paying the rent, whatever that is, that these are real things to have a focus on. I don't want to ignore the fact that I need to pay my rent,
right.
And I can also add to it trust. I can trust myself that I will take care of this. I can trust my community and the earth that I will be taken care of. And so for me, I always will put trust back in, because it's really just a layer of doubt where worry starts to make its face known.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Thanks.
I think there, if I get to trust and do
Yeah. And it's just, I trust that everything is working out in divine timing, and that this money is coming. I'm so curious as to when it's coming, because worry isn't going to get it to me any faster. Worry doesn't help it. So just recognize, like, well, worry is not going to help me paying the rent. It won't help it. Trust will actually help it. Okay. And we're still going to take the steps to do the thing. Like, we don't want to ignore the realities. Still want to pay the rent, eat the food, take care of each other and ourselves. So, I'm grateful that we got to hang out today, and we got to meet up and connect and be in the sunshine.
it.
And
Feels so good.
it does. So thanks for being here with me, y'all. Thank you all for being here with me. I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks for joining and for tuning in and like participating and chiming in. I really appreciate it. And I will see you all soon with my very yin yang face.